Hello, everyone, and welcome back to ReeRoles. I am the Dungeon Master Ree. I will be tormenting these people with great boons and great evils. Maybe at the same time, who knows? We're just going to start this by going down the list and having everybody introduce themselves and all the wonderful and cool things they're up to. And we're going to start with Ari.
This is unexpected. Hi, I'm Ari. I am playing Layla, the Bard. I am here, there, and everywhere. You can see me tomorrow night as Sebastian on Price of Power. I am over on Kira's channel in a couple of campaigns on the Cookout TTRPG YouTube, and I'm over on the Bear Pen doing random things. Follow me at Twitter at Small Shadow Snack for possums.
All right, that was short and sweet, sure. Mercer, you're up next.
Aw, snap. I get to go next. What's up, y'all? I'm Arethian. Y'all know where to find me. I be on Twitch. I be on YouTube. One day I'll be back on SoundCloud. But I'm just here playing Reagan Peril, your resident paladin. And I'm also on the Cookout TTRPGs as well. Right up there with Kira, the big dog themselves, throwing plates at everybody. But enough about me. Next caller.
All right, next up will be our wonderful and our favorite Classical Glyza.
Hey, I'm Glyza. I go by they, them. I'm a person of many hats. I'm a podcast host, a writer, a variety streamer, a talk show host of a show called Trial Run, where I interview different TTRPG personalities, creators, players, GMs, and everything else in between. And then I create a character with them and run them through a quick one-shot. Hey, speaking of TTRPG personalities, I'm one too. You can find all of the shows that I'm in being announced on all of the socials, actually just on Twitter, by searching at Classical Glyza on the internet. Today I'll be playing Dewdrop the Genasi, and she's been in a cave talking to a goddess, and I'm sure everything's gonna be okay.
I didn't say that things would be okay, but sure. Sir Monolith, it's your turn.
Okay. So I had to mute my Twitch channel because it was double speaking in my ear.
I hate when that happens. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, so I'm at Sir Monolith on Twitter. You can, I don't really do a whole lot on there, but I exist. And playing this game. Well, 2 games on Ree's channel right now. So tonight and then tomorrow night we have a vampire game that you should definitely come check out around the same time. And then looking forward to Blood on the Bayou getting started up again. Should be next week. We had some technical issues this morning, but it's okay because we're getting it all ironed out and be ready to roll next Sunday. So you should come check that out around 2 o'clock or so. I think is when I'm starting, right? That was what I heard. So anyway, and here I'm playing Axel. If you haven't watched the show before, elf called Axel Moon Whisper, and he is a mercenary with a crossbow who likes to shoot things. And so we're gonna see what happens tonight because I think we're getting ready to get into some interesting shenanigans with real estate.
So you're saying I should invest in a timeshare?
I mean,
No.
Obviously.
No, it's not a thing. All right.
Ooh, we can start the medieval timeshare business.
No, you cannot. But now that our wonderful cast has been introduced, we are going to
You forget
to
Kira?
dive back in.
Really?
I did not. It's fine. No, but obviously our favorite and wonderful friend of the channel, Kira, your turn. That was purely because of the spicy Mountain Dew thing. Honestly, that was 100% for that.
For those who don't know,
Do
there's a
not
brand
advertise
out
this.
there.
Do not. You've already proven you have made poor decisions. Do not make worse decisions today.
Mountain Dew can tweet at Big Degree.
Mountain Dew flavor high. I'm telling you now, it's absolutely delicious. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Hi, I'm Kira858. I play Aspen, who is now new money over here. New money everywhere. Of course, you can be able to you can find all of our content either listening at the Cookout TTRPGs or YouTube or at the Kira858. And I'll wait to the end of the show to, of course, talk about all of the campaigns and such that we're working on. But I'm super excited to see us be able to dive into real estate and get some keeps in. We about to move on up like the Jeffersons. I'm ready for this.
Has a disadvantage on And intelligence checks.
It would
for
be
the
just
rest of
like
the
you
night.
read a hate on the east side. I'm gonna put that on record. I'm gonna put that on record.
Anyway,
For those of y'all out there, from
do
where
not
we
you do
live
not listen to.
respectively, Ree is west side, I am east side. Therefore, Ree
Oh.
is a hater.
That is not
Confirmed.
accurate. That is not accurate.
Confirmed.
Anyway, now we really will dive into our wonderful world here, and we are going to pick it up just where we left off, as Aspen and Layla have finished shopping. At this point in time, you can see that the sun has started to set, and that previous energetic spirit in the city is starting to kind of die down, and some shops are starting to close up. It's roughly, we'll say it's around 6:37 in the evening. What would you two like to do?
You shuffleable rest now.
So Aspen will look over to Layla and says, all right, so I think we have everything. Is there anything else we need?
Nope. I got the tacos. I have the boots. I have the money. We should be good.
All right. Sounds good. I guess we could head back and tell them all of the great things we've discovered. This place will be open tomorrow, correct? We would need to return for the surveyor.
I believe so.
All right, perfect. He looks around. I think he will, looking at some of the tacos, he may grab one of them and just start chewing on it.
Can she mage slap his hand?
Your hands are full, fam. Your hands are full. You're the one
You
grabbing the tacos.
can, you can make an Arcana check to see how well you can do that. Sure.
Okay. This is gonna suck, but okay.
About to lose all our tacos.
Just what?
Dirty 20.
What?
Nice. Wow.
With your hands full? Like what?
Interception.
Arcana check.
Pretty impressive,
19 plus 1.
It was pretty effective. It's not exactly a heavy-handed slap, but it gets the message across. It's still a
You
little
can't eat.
disrespectful.
You can't eat and carry a great sword.
I said
Yes,
to
okay.
not. Sit down.
It's on the back. It's on the back. But why can't I just take a piece while we're traveling? I mean, like,
Because these are for Dewdrop as well. I want to make sure she has first go on everything.
it is normal among you mortals. I mean, like,
It is normal among us Texans. The person who asks for the food gets first pick.
kind of madness is this? Okay.
Like I said, we are right in between the 8th and 9th circle. I don't make the rules.
I see. Well, I think while we're traveling back home, just so I can further understand, because your culture is very different from mine, perhaps give me a little heads up on things that are considered normal for you, and then that may help.
Oh, we will be here all night long just to
Never mind
discuss
that.
things. And
Never mind that.
I think maybe it is a trial and error sort of situation.
All right. Well, hopefully there's not too many trials. they'll look one last time at the tacos, and then they'll just be like, okay, and they'll start walking. I guess we make our way back.
I know. You all will take your cart and horses. Is that correct? Or horse?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And as you all begin your journey back, our focus is going to shift on a very motley crew. 5 people, a wyvern and giant insect, I believe, as well. They are all hiding out in this mid-sized cave. You know what? I will say, if Dewdrop wants to have casted the spell to summon a giant ant over and over again for the last few hours, I will 100% let her. It is her choice. But what are the group of you up to?
Has the long rest period ended for Reagan?
I would say it's ending about now.
Okay. Well, Reagan will be getting up and stretching at this point. And he'll start a little bit because I think he fell asleep near the wyvern. I've got to get used to that being there. Apologies, wyvern friend.
Dewdrop has probably been just exchanging like conversations with the goddess. I don't know what else we've been talking about, but it's mostly just, oh, how do you like being a goddess? Do we know that she's a goddess?
Yeah.
All right. How do you like
I think
being
so.
the goddess or whatever? Like, have you met other beings of godly divinity or whatever? Those kind of things.
Awkward small talk. Roll me
Yes.
a charisma check or persuasion check to see how well y'all
All right.
with small talk is going for Dewdrop.
You got this.
Persuasion.
Persuasion.
All right.
Unless you want to lie to her.
That is 19, 20, 30, 20.
Oh, we rolling good.
So far, it's going pretty well. You've managed to learn the story from, exactly how things have come to be. The fact that they have just kind of entered this new plane after
Mm-hmm.
a very long time, you gather, but to her, it seems like it was
Right.
very short. You also are aware that she does not know of any other divine beings or anything like that.
Okay. Cool. Just small talk, really. Just to make sure she feels comfortable. That's what I've been up to.
Okay. And
What about Axel? Oh, you getting to that. My bad, Ree. I'm too
Axel,
hype.
what have you been doing?
Axel he's waiting for people to come back. People are going shopping, right? And I'm in the cave. So I have been keeping watch. I really don't have a whole lot else to do. I mean, if somebody comes to relieve me, which I don't know as though I'd be super, I guess, eager to have done, since I know I'm the only one with a good set of eyes here. But I mean, if he gets too sleepy, he might have to do a little trance dance to get some rest. Since even elves get exhausted eventually. So yeah, if he needs to rest, he'll rest. But outside of probably resting, he's gonna be on duty, keeping an eye out.
Okay. All right. Well, I will say you all are able to just kind of stay comfortable like that for a few hours. Dio is with you. I believe Dio is with you all. I don't believe she went with Aspen and Layla. So she is kind of hanging out with you all. She's going over a few spells and things in her spell book. And it isn't until around 9-ish at night, just when the sky is kind of settled into a darker color, when you, Axel, notice that there is a cart coming up the road.
Does it just look like a horse and carriage type cart? Or
Mhm.
Does it look like there's how many am I able to see? Is it dark
Just
yet,
two.
or
It is dark. It's like that time where it's just after sunset.
okay? It should be fine. I have 60-foot dark vision. I don't know. They're probably further away than that, but
Yes, they're a bit too far away for your full dark vision, so you can't make out any identifying features. But
Reagan.
Yes.
Reagan!
He shows up. And you see his glaive next to him. What is it, friend?
I know.
Hostiles?
I know you can't see. I don't know, but there's somebody coming. It's a cart. It looks like there's two of them, and I'm not quite sure who it is yet. So just be on the ready and let everybody else know to be ready for trouble, in case it turns out to be somebody other than who we're expecting.
Reagan nods and gets in the fighting stance with his glaive.
And Axel just kind of settles back into his hidden position with the crossbow.
okay. They seem to be getting closer.
Just
Do we see
What?
them?
What is Aspen's passive perception?
Oh, 19.
Axel, roll me a stealth check.
okay.
Well, when I see Reagan, Reagan sticks out like a sore thumb.
It's true, he does.
I mean, is Reagan
It's
standing
unfortunate.
outside the cave?
Reagan
If
is
Reagan
the
is-
sore thumb. 23.
All right.
Well,
Well,
as
you
a
don't
paladin,
see
I can't
Axel.
deny it.
If Reagan is just standing out in the open, then yeah, you could see Reagan. He's not particularly well hidden. There's like a large glaive that's kind of reflecting like moonlight around, so it's
And
pretty
he's
obvious.
saying, "Hello, friend."
Person.
Oh, he's not. He's in a fighting
Right,
stance.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Remember, you
if
can't see as
Aspen
far as y'all.
has, if your dark vision extends beyond say 60 feet, then you can see them in black and white. But if not, then you can just barely make out the figure.
Okay.
Yeah, so Aspen will look towards Layla and says, so they're here now. Well, we're here now. Does that mean I can get a taco now, or do we have to wait still?
I have to wait. I
Oh.
need to present them to Dewdrop appropriately.
Oh, okay. So it's not us being in the same area as them. We have to present this as like an offering? Like, is this like some type of tribute?
No. So like when somebody orders food and you go and get it, you take it back to the person who ordered it. They take the first bit of food, and then everybody else gets to take food. If it is a communal meal.
Interesting. It is with a fly with dragons. But very well. and they lean back against the seat. And
I hate that pun. I hate. This wouldn't fly with dragons.
I will say those of you with dark vision, you would now be close enough to be able to see each other effectively.
They see Reagan. It says, Reagan, we have a couple surprises for you. And they'll chuck one of the goggles of a night at Reagan.
What, Aspen? Is that you, friend?
Yes. And you see you see some goggles flying.
And I roll a
towards
disadvantage to catch it.
Sure. Give me dexterity slide. Just general dexterity.
Okay, on it. And let's go. 7.
Hey,
I gave myself disadvantage.
And you look at the kind of the dark spot coming to you, and as you reach out for it, you're off by like half of an inch. So the goggles kind of just smack into your fingers and then smack into your face.
Oh,
Oh,
what was
Are you
that,
okay?
friend? I'm fine. I just didn't expect a payload to be flying toward my face. You know I can't see like you all.
I forgot. Well, that will take care of it. Put it on, you'll see.
Reagan puts on the goggles of nights. Does that require attunement?
I don't
No,
believe
they-
so. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So you gain dark vision.
How far? 60 feet? 30 feet?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me just double check. But
Okay.
yeah, I think it's just 60.
Mhm.
Yeah, just 60.
Okay, sweet. This is wonderful, friends. Everything seems to be what do they call it? Grayscale, but I can see everyone.
Yes, we remembered you and Dewdrop having difficulties during our underground adventures, and we may have to go down there in the future. So, wanted to help take care of that for you. We have a lot of great news for you all, but we'll wait until everyone gathers together before we deliver. And also, it seems I have to wait for Layla to deliver these tacos before I can eat some. So I will just relax here while that takes place. And he just looked towards Layla.
Layla is handing the cakes off to Reagan.
What are these?
Surprises. Hold on. And she's gonna go. She's taking the tacos and happily bopping straight towards Dewdrop.
So you would say the cake bought cake. That's too risque for him. I won't let Reagan have it. If only he were that smooth. If only.
If only.
Dewdrop, you are handed these tacos. They're kind of
They
stale.
are.
Honestly, a little stale.
What?
Sitting in
Rude.
space. They've been sitting in space for several hours.
There's no covering.
Several
There
hours?
were
They were no
Bags of
Several
holding are
hours.
not refrigerated. Bags of holding are not
Several
refrigerated.
hours.
They didn't come in
Go
like a
go
box
to the
hold?
store, get a box of tacos, and they just leave them on your kitchen table for 2 hours. It did taste them. They would
First
not
of
be
all,
good.
First of all, I don't know what
This
tacos you're tasting. They're
They would not be
fine.
good.
They were
Have you
literally being
eaten actually good Mexican tacos that you could just leave for about 2 hours?
After
Mexican
we
15, 20
literally
minutes,
bought
they
them
taste
as the
nasty.
last
Mhm.
thing.
They're
You had
fine.
to walk 2 hours from the cave, from the city
It's
to the
only
cave.
2
They're
hours.
don't even. It's
And
only
you
been 2
leave
hours.
them.
They're fine. Don't even trip.
This is the culinary travesty. That's what this is.
As a person who lived in San Diego and leaving tacos on the kitchen counter and eating them when I'm ready to eat them, they're perfectly fine. They're great actually, and I'm enjoying them. I am happy to eat them because they're great. Happily biting into them because it tastes delicious.
I also got you
Just like they have in Minnesota.
I also did get you the biggest thing of green salsa that I could get.
Perfect. And I dip a little bit of green salsa on the taco that I have. Have your own. Please enjoy it. I'm sorry the salsa is a little not as spicy as they do it in Minnesota, but I'm not much of a spicy person myself. So if you want more spicy stuff, well, too bad. We only have green salsa.
Aspen, you can have a taco now.
Ah, finally. And they'll go ahead and walk over and go ahead and grab one. And as they do so, they say, so we have a lot of great information to share.
Are these tacos for everyone?
Yes, I bought a lot of them.
Well, I wasn't invited. I just wanted to be sure, friends. And I don't know what you want me to do with this cake, but
Give me the cake. Give me the cake.
Isn't that supposed to be for special occasions or something? I forgot.
I don't know what it's for, friend. Layla told me to hold on to it, so I held it.
It is for after dinner dessert. And also to celebrate that we survived the big bat things and nobody got fully crushed by that spider.
That is something to celebrate. I still remember those wounds.
Oh, and also Dewdrop, this is for you. And they'll hand over the goggles tonight.
Axel, friend, did you get a taco?
What are you asking?
Axel. Mr. Moon Whisper. Did you get
had
a taco, friend?
Axel?
Yeah, I get a taco. I came out a little late, after everybody kind of showed up. I waited till I started talking. I kind of, came out of my hiding spot.
Oh, okay. There you are, Axel. Your stealth aside, he can't see you unless you want to be seen. So, what is this news, friend?
Stale tacos, which are not stale, which are perfectly great, perfectly fine. I bet the storyteller might have eaten some stale tacos, which just means it's not correct tacos.
So storytellers in Minnesota prepare tacos. Is that what you're telling me, Dewdrop?
Axel's hungry. We've been here a while, so Axel's gonna get some tacos.
Yeah.
Delicious tacos.
Phila and the Wyvern are not interested in your tacos.
Wow. My lady, are you sure you do not wish to try this taco?
I don't understand what that is.
'Tis food. I know you don't need sustenance, but I figured you may like to try it.
Roll a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Why?
It's... Let the record show Ree is a hater. Confirmed. I don't want to hear it.
Oh, persuasion on disadvantage.
My one
Why?
good stat at
Why?
disadvantage. Okay. Wow, a
Makes
20.
no
It's still a
sense.
dirty 20. I will take it. That's a 20 and a 24.
She tries it for a moment. She does take one of the tacos. She doesn't really eat it as so much as kind of splits into two. You ever see someone like I guess rich would be a description of someone who just kind of breaks things and eats them in pieces. She does this to the taco, and she doesn't seem to dislike it, but she doesn't seem to particularly like it either.
Like that kind of person that eats pizza with a fork and a knife.
Very same vibe.
It hurts, but it's real. What do you think, my lady?
It is strange.
I
You do
figured
this
it
for
might
fun?
be.
Is this what
We do this for pleasure and for necessity. For you see, most of us mortals need food to survive, or else we perish. And I'll have you know, perishing is not comfortable.
I see. I did not know this.
But this is what we like to call good food. Things that are both necessary for our survival and pleasurable to enjoy. There are also phenomenons called bad food, that which is not particularly appealing, but we may or may not need to eat it, for again, it may be integral to our survival.
I see.
So news, friends.
Oh. Whoa.
Axel's
Whoa.
gonna take his taco and go kind of eat it quietly in the side for a second and just really enjoy the heck out of that taco in some peace and quiet because he's tired from all the guard duty.
That is fair.
Well, there's a bit of news. For one, we were able to sell the special tar that we found from underneath the location. And we were able to obtain quite a bit of funds from that area, specifically around 140,000 gold.
Reagan just clutches at his armor, like clutches at where his heart would be. It's like, how much, friend?
140,000.
Dewdrop, did you hear that?
Well,
That-
that is
that is
minus
a lot of
little
money.
bit.
Oh yes, we spent some gold for your goggles of night as well as your great sword, your boots, and I think we bought something for Axel as well. I can't recall what was for Axel. But
That's,
nevertheless,
That's a lot of great things that we can use to,
All the gods we can name,
Of
all
course.
the people we could help.
all of them. We could do a lot. Well, we would need a lot more. This just means that we can do a lot of good for both the gods and the goddess right now, because she is allowed to enter into the city. We can make our own city.
well, that was the goal. We were looking to see about obtaining a keep. We were able to obtain a surveyor to help us be able to locate perhaps a real estate area outside of this location.
Would Reagan understand the concept of a surveyor based on him being a resident in the city and having to purchase a house? In the
Yes,
city?
both you and Dewdrop are aware of who their surveyors are. You all know that they are positions usually that you get selected to. They're not super popular, but they do. They mainly do things that are involving interfacing between people and the government in terms of owning businesses and the resources to make one. They also pay the taxes usually for land.
How did you manage to get the ear of someone so important, friends?
Well, this tar is extremely special. I recall also you and Dio also obtained some tar, and they were very interested in having more. We've kept the identity of where it was located as a secret due to the fact that we did not want to have the individuals that reside there having to deal with others coming by and perhaps causing problems and issues in their home. However, we did say that we knew of others who possess tar. And so if you wish to sell the tar to the trader union, that should help out, that you would be able to sell yours for quite a bit. But with this goal, we were planning to essentially attempt to find a keep of sorts where we could be able to reside at. Therefore, you wouldn't have to worry about staying in a cave for much longer.
This is a lot to take in, friend.
Hmm.
You've seen the state in which I live in. I must admit I'm a stranger to so much wealth.
Well, one day I would have to take you back home. A dragon's hoard is a sight to behold. And we're dragons, so.
Do you have your own hoard, friend?
I do not. My mothers do.
Well, according to the dragon god, well, I guess Reagan wouldn't know about the dragon god. That is shrouded in mystery from the Church of Ados. He knows.
Really?
Does he know of Baal, but not the details of Baal?
Yeah,
right?
I would say all you know generally of the main deities. At least to the exact extent, I would say would be up to you, but you've all been aware of the divines.
Yeah. Okay. How well would Baal's teachings even mention dragon hordes? And how dragons
I would say you could make a religion roll for that.
Ooh, a straight roll.
It would be based purely on how much interest Reagan would show in deity.
12.
You know that it is not unheard of for dragon hordes to exist. You know that dragons generally hoard things. You don't know anything specifically from the teachings of Baal that tell you to do so, but you know that's associated with dragons all the same.
I'm surprised you didn't start a horde of your own, friend.
Oh, well, that is the goal with this keep.
Well, we have to make sure we get one with proper basement space. Or make a basement of our own. You do like caves, right, friend?
Yes. Interesting enough, the mortals seem to have hordes. The place where they took us to, it was deep underground, and they had rooms where it seems gold and the likes, I guess precious items were secured. So it was interesting to discover that others contain hordes like ourselves.
Is the concept of the vault common knowledge to citizens, or is it like a case by case? If you can afford it, like Gringotts vaults and Harry Potter.
No, everyone knows about the trading union. Generally, most people don't have a use for it. Most people in a month make roughly 30 gold, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Just basically about a gold a day. So for the most part, most people don't have any use for a vault, but wealthy enough people do.
You got to go into one of the vaults.
Well, yes. Well, Layla and they look towards Layla and says, was this your first time going there, or have you seen, is this common for mortals, or is this not common?
Well, as you know, friend, we have nobles in our fair city, but I am what you would refer to as working class, so I never dreamed I'd see that amount of money, and as such, I haven't been privy to such experiences.
Layla has a taco partially in her mouth, so she looks a little bit like a chipmunk, and she's just looking between the two of you.
It made you, yep. Aspen just looks towards you. Is this kind of normal, or?
It's all right.
Oh, so it is normal. It is normal for mortals to have. Okay. It's interesting. It's nice to know that there's a commonality there between us and you. With that said, is everyone interested in perhaps residing in this keep, or would you prefer to I mean, there is no requirement for you all to stay there. I know that Reagan, you have a place of your own. You do drop, and I know you have particular customs associated with Minnesota.
Of course.
and I'm not sure how that would apply with this keep.
Well, it will have to the keep if I need to basically transfer from my own abode to this keep. There needs to be a big enough space for me to put all the Minnesota stuff that I have in my home, and that room will not be accessible to anybody. That will be my room. It will be big enough that it contains all of the Minnesotan stuff that I have, of course. But I would love to stay in a castle, of course, in a keep. I just need to move all my stuff. That's what I call our things from Minnesota. My stuff.
Is that a new dialect? I see. The more I learn about Minnesota.
It's the word that we use for possessions, my belongings, my stuff.
I thought it was going to end with a HIT, but I was incorrect in that statement. In that statement,
I was about to say, but I corrected myself and I said stuff.
I'm all for moving, friend. You know I don't pack much from the times you visited.
Fantastic.
Well, are you okay with leaving all that rooms in your house?
What's wrong with it, friend?
I was just wondering. You have a lot of rooms in your house.
If there were just some way I could let someone pay to stay at my place while I live at the castle,
Real estate.
What is
That's
this?
what we call.
You speak?
That is what we call, owning a house and then letting people stay in your house and then they pay you. Renting.
Is this a Minnesotan thing?
Yes, it is in multiple places. It's definitely a thing in Minnesota. When there are housing problems, when people can't afford houses, instead of buying a house, we rent it. That is a thing. Yes. You know what? Maybe I don't have to give up my home. I just need to un-Minnesota it, basically, so that people can go into that house.
I heard somebody in the tavern the other day mention something called, I think it was subletting. Yes.
What is this, friend Axel?
He spoke about it like, he was renting something that he was renting from somebody else to somebody else.
Oh.
That sounds yeah.
That sounds like a pyramid scheme.
That could get a bit dicey.
Reagan,
it's okay. We own our houses, right?
If they upsell us and we get in trouble with the government, I don't know if the teaching of Ados allow for this subletting of which you speak.
But does not.
We should charge those fairly for our labor and services.
It's not part of the tenants.
Well, it's a good thing that we have other gods to serve, isn't it, Regan?
Regan breaks out the cold sweat. I suppose
Why are you sweating?
There are many gods in the pantheon. Yes.
Why are you sweating?
Because, friend, this has been a very precarious. Is that? He can say precarious. Screw it. That's smart. That's in Reagan's vocabulary. I'll let it have it. It's a very precarious situation for me to be in right now, friend. You see, Lady Pila, being outside of the eyes of Ados, yet I'm a paladin of Ados, and I've always thought Ados's arms were open to all, and apparently someone was supposed to remain hidden from his sight. I just don't know, friend. So many things the church has told me, and then we've run into many different deities over the course of our adventures, and they're telling me I don't know as much as I thought I knew.
Why did you choose Autos if you're looking for these nameless ones you keep referring to? Why don't you become a paladin of them?
Well, you see, friend, when it came to me making money and becoming emancipated, so to speak, I decided to join the Paladin's Order, and I had to do things to survive, you see, and joining the order was perhaps my best bet.
So it wasn't by choice, but more by survival.
One could say this. Over times, I began to internalize and even practice the teachings, and I tend to hold them very close to my heart. But there are moments such as these where that which I've chosen for myself is called into question.
Well, now you can release those shackles as we obtain this keep. Your requirement for survival is eliminated. We have our own destination. Well, soon, once we find a keep to reside as our own. From there, you could be able to make your own choices and then choose if you wish to follow this individual or follow the being that sits with us or these nameless ones that you refer to.
I certainly believe in the nameless ones, and you may in fact be right, friend, but especially with my experiences as a paladin, I have realized just how powerful Aldos's outreach can be. I fear there may be any place that we could necessarily escape his sight, but according to Lady Pila here, it does not extend this far. But I will do as you wish. I would in fact love to go to this keep, if we can find a good one, of course. But especially lately, I don't know if Aldos has been too fond of me lately, friend. Like I said, I had to do some things to survive.
Well, if Autos is that important to you, then they will understand the choices that you have to make. If they can accept these choices, then they are clearly not meant to you. I could not speak for gods in particular. Why I have a sibling who worships the god Baal. I can't say I am 100% familiar with that type of relationship. I'm assuming it's like family, perhaps not. If it is, if they can accept you for who you are, then they were not meant to be to begin with.
Reagan slowly nods, and you'll see Reagan actually try to change the subject. Like, Layla, you said you had that greatsword for me, yes?
Yes, I was letting Aspen carry it.
Yeah. And they give one final smirk because they realize that, of course, they fell at ease of what of her unique nature is. He gives one final smirk. It's like, yes, she did. And then they'll take it off and then present it to you.
Reagan will take it. Oh, there seems to be something unique about it, friend. It's not of the standard make.
It is of a magical descent. Oh, and I believe you all are, and you look toward Layla, I believe you have the remaining items, correct? For Axel and Dewdrop?
Yes, I do. Hold on. Dewdrop, I got your boots. I found the pattern on them that I thought would be the best for you. They fly though.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure that they were just not wingtipped. They're flying boots. Awesome. Thank you so much.
And Axel, I know you have like many things already, but here, I believe we got him a crossbow. Is it another crossbow?
Another one.
I believe you picked. I don't recall if you picked the weapon of warning crossbow or the +1 crossbow, but it was one of those.
I think it was the +1 crossbow.
+1, yeah.
I think you got one of the little ones because you're like, we don't have room in the thing for all these big ones.
When Reagan receives a greatsword, Reagan's going to try and non-stealthily stealth his way out the campsite. He's got stealth, but it's not as high as those resident, obviously.
Yeah, I think almost every single one of us have like a passive perception of like 17 plus.
So Reagan in his mind,
I have ever been in.
Reagan in his mind is slipping out unnoticed.
What is Dewdrop passive perception? Just curious to see if it's.
Let me double check.
You got high wisdom, so
Dudop's passive perception is 17.
Yep, 17, 18, 19 crew.
I don't think anyone wants to stop Reagan from leaving. Is that correct?
I think Aspen would just look curiously, like, why is he pretending to sneak for? But then he goes back to eating a taco.
You know, I'm just gonna let him have it. It's okay.
No, I know.
I
I like how like the entire party just looks up at him as he tries and sneaks away, and just like what, and then just goes and it goes back to eating.
Reagan's gonna try to go to a clearing not too far from the cave, so that he can do a little something.
Okay. You can go a few minutes away if you like.
Axel is just going to be. Axel is just, thank you very much. He's like, he's admiring the nice, hand crossbows. Like, oh, this is nice. I'll have to find another one of these around somewhere for the future, But this is very nice. Thank you.
Of course, it was the least we could do. To be honest, Layla was the primary advocate for performing this, so she deserves all the praise.
Well,
thank you so much, Layla.
Oh, you're welcome. You just seem to really like crossbows, and I thought you could maybe add one more to your arsenal.
They are, and the little ones that I have here, the hand crossbows are definitely of lower quality. So having a nice one like this is definitely an improvement. And I haven't been using them much lately, but they have their purposes.
Oh, I will say this: if for those interested, if you wish to obtain more magical items, I think during this week all magical items are 50% off. So these items that we purchased were a 50% variety. So if you're looking for something else, be it cloaks, weapons, etc., this would be the best time to purchase one.
I was thinking of maybe trying to get some armor next time.
Armor ain't a bad idea.
How much was the little hand crossbow? Out of curiosity, I forgot. For the +1 right now, is the price for
Let me check my notes. Oh crap, I just had the number amount. I'm trying to remember which one was which. Was it? I think it was 250, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were 250. Yeah. 250.
Well, shit. If we get back to town, I'll buy another one.
Yeah, 250. Yeah, the 3 items were 250. One of them was 500, and another item was 750.
Quick question: what kind of great sword y'all give Reagan? Is it just a +1, or was it one special?
I believe it was +1.
Okay, if it's a +1, cool. I just want to make sure I write down the right one. Thanks, y'all.
All right. So I guess Ashley will continue eating and say, I guess you can rest up for because it's late right now. So we'll rest up for tonight, and then tomorrow, is everyone okay with return you back and talking with the surveyor?
It sounds like fun.
All right. And I think Reagan, were you planning on doing something?
Reagan's not in the cave right now, so.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
He thought he snuck out, basically.
Oh yeah, he just looks over again. It was see him sneaking out or attempting to sneak out, and smirks and just goes back to eating their food.
Right. So, Reagan, now that you've found a quiet space, kind of nestled into a kind of a field of trees and things, how do you go about this process?
He's going to lay the sword down and get in a kneeling position. And he's going to summon his glaive and sit it next to the great sword. And he's just going to concentrate on that energy to which his party has recently become acquainted with, but he is all too familiar with.
All right. It takes you about an hour of concentration, and you begin to slowly express your intent. And as you do so, you can feel that alien yet comforting presence, almost as if it is just barely out of view, kind of running its existence across yours. And there's a moment where you feel this chill go along your spine, and as you do, you see the glaive that you had been using beginning to kind of fade and dissolve away. And as this happens, the great sword, you see the hilt become almost brittle for a moment as bone begins to extend up where metal and leather had been. And as it gets closer to the guard, you see three, not eyes, but eye sockets appear. And extending out from them are six in total, three on each side, bony, tentacle-like protrusions begin to etch their way along the blade before freezing and then shifting into a more metallic bent. And you feel a sense of satisfaction, an understanding, approval.
Reagan's gonna inhale and exhale and pick it up and hold on to it and swing it around. Make sure he feels comfortable with it, and then dismiss it into the ether and head back to the campsite.
Okay. And it fades away as easily as you had summoned it. And as you all are getting together, I believe Axel and Aspen are the only ones with the high enough passive perception for this. You both hear this, and it's so quiet that you aren't sure how long it's been there. You aren't even really sure if it is there as you try to focus. It's almost as if this sound is fading every time you attempt to concentrate your senses on it. Oh, Layla, you as well. I didn't know you had a passive perception of 18. All right, well, then all three of you. Okay. Why?
Yes, sir, we
Perception's
got the
Bard.
passive perception crew.
Bard.
Yeah.
You're a bard.
You're
Yes,
a
all three of you
bard.
hear this.
Reagan can
You all
have nothing.
you hear this flute music that seems to be coming from all around you, and it's equal parts beautiful and sad. What do you do?
Aspen looks over to Layla and says, do you hear that? You're not doing that, are you?
Not knowingly. I mean, I'm not playing anything, but I don't know if like I could do that. I'm pretty sure I can't. She's gonna try and listen to see if she can tell like what it is, like what type of music it is.
I had a totally opposite image in my head. I'm sorry.
Roll,
I'm
just
immature.
roll if you have proficiency with, we'll say, flutes. Roll charisma plus proficiency. I don't know how rolling
I
tool
actually
proficiency will
do.
work.
I actually do. So charisma.
Basically, just roll your tool proficiency because it should give you your
Yes.
proficiency bonus for that.
It's 15.
Okay. You definitely know it's flute music, but it's not any song you recognize.
They're playing a flute. I don't know what it is.
So I do have blind sight. Is there anything coming off that's like appearing as invisible of sorts?
No.
I don't like the fact that this music is playing so close to our cave. We should be by ourselves. I don't think anyone should have spotted us, but perhaps we have been seen.
Dewdrop, could this be one of your nameless gods of ethereal flute music?
Could be. Let me just listen a little bit closely, and I'll pay attention and see. And I do listen and see if I could make it out a little bit more.
Roll perception with disadvantage.
And always with disadvantage. Why? Huh?
It's hard
They
as
stay
you
hating.
try and concentrate on the sound. It's as if the more you try to grasp for it, the harder it is to get.
Perception with disadvantage, you said?
Yep.
All right. Well, the first one is a 10. That. And the second one is an 18. So that's 17.
You can hear it barely. It is very quiet, very soft, but you don't recognize it.
All right. Well, it could be just a call from a nameless one. I'll try to write that down and see if I can name. I have a feeling this one is a masculine god because it's trying to get attention without how do I say it? It wants attention without asking for it. I don't know. I feel like it might be.
It's peacocking.
Yeah, but it's like don't look at me
Aspen.
kind of thing.
Aspen, you noticed that Dio is gone.
Where did Dio go? Okay, I'm not liking this. I'm going to take a look and see if I can find something out here. And they're going to look at their Drake Umbra, kind of give them the nod to be like, hey, it's time to take a examination around the perimeter. And they're going to see if they can find anybody close by, especially now that Dio is gone.
Okay. All right. Since you are actively looking, I will have to have you roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Oh, but now a disadvantage.
They're not looking for the music, they're looking for a person
Whatever.
to drum. Maybe if your passive
Whatever.
perception was a little higher, you wouldn't have
My passive
this
perception
problem.
is 17.
But
That's
the
pretty
DC
high.
The DC was 18.
What?
Hater.
Layla could hear it.
I could hear it too.
After you
That'd
focus.
be 26.
Wow.
It doesn't actually take the two of you very long. You kind of make it to maybe a good 20 to 30 feet away from the cave, and you find Dio is kind of standing in this, not quite a field, but this haven, this section of the forest that's been kind of covered over by branches and trees. And you see that she's talking to someone, but the angle makes it very difficult for you to see what she's looking at. But you can hear a conversation.
They're going to try to stealth their way closer to see who they're talking to.
Roll me a stealth check.
All right. Natural 20. So that would be 28.
It should be illegal to be that hidden.
You manage to get pretty close, and you manage to use the trees around you and the shade in them to get within about 10-15 feet of their conversation before you feel that you wouldn't be able to get much closer. And you can see that she is talking to what looks to be a woman who is kind of standing so that the moonlight is coming from behind her, which is kind of bathing her features in shadows. But you do pick out, as she kind of moves her face a bit, there is a thin sheet, very small slivers of metal from this angle, blocking her face. And you can just barely pick out the hint of dragon scales going down from where you're standing, the right side of her body.
Dragon scales. Is there horns? Or wings or a
It's hard
tail?
for you to see. You don't see any horns, or you don't see any tails or wings from where you are. But she's wearing a kind of a very, not quite big gown, but kind of poofy. You've seen any of the like French or English like royalty from like the 1700s, that kind of poofier, has that kind of poofier vibe to it. So it's hard to see if it's close to her skin or not. She could be hiding something.
Yeah, like how Aspen hides their wings underneath their cloak, and that makes sense. But the tail is too big though, and the tail wouldn't be able to hide. And you said she doesn't have a tail, right?
No, you don't see one though.
Okay. All right. In that case, when they realize that the individual clearly seems to be of draconic descent, they're going to make their way closer, this time in a non-stealthy approach. And wait, so the music is coming from her, right? Okay. As they approach, they kind of look towards the group. It says, "Hi, sorry, I kind of heard some music playing from a distance. Oh, who are you by chance?"
Oh, you've made it. I was beginning to worry that you weren't going to come. You may call me Ethra.
Ethra. You know who I am?
Of course. It's my job to know things, after all. Theo tells me you're quite talented.
I try. Is there something we can help you with if you're asking if you heard of our skill sets?
I wouldn't say something that you can help me with. I believe you've already done what I asked you to do. According to Dio here, are your friends not coming? Are they not curious? Or are they afraid, perhaps?
Well, we were under the impression that our area was of secure nature. We did not think those would be able to find us here. However, if you wish for their attendance, I can definitely reach out to gather them.
No, everyone makes their choice. I didn't really need anyone at the moment. But I was the one that asked Steele to look into that pesky problem under the city for me. And I'm told you found quite the interesting information.
Oh, I see now. Oh, you're a half dragon as well.
I am.
Yes, we found quite a bit of information from underneath. There was some good, some bad. Yet, I would definitely recommend, if the goal was to scout ahead to make sure others could be able to traverse it safely, there may be some difficulties there. Presuming
Yes.
Dio has gave that information to you.
Yes. It is going to be difficult. But it doesn't seem like you found the source of the undead after all. Oh well, that is unfortunate.
No, we did not. Yet, I was also under the impression that you may have heard word or have seen or have information regarding someone that I'm searching for. Her name is Eileen.
Yes, I know Eileen. She was quite a lot of fun for a while.
When did you last see her?
Time is so strange for mortals. 4 or 5 months ago?
I see. And was she doing something for you? Did she tell you what she was doing?
We were not doing anything specific. I was bored, so we were doing whatever we could get ourselves into, really. But she decided to go off on an adventure or something. She wanted to find a lost secret, and I told her about it.
I see. But thank you. I do appreciate you providing this information. Is there any other tasks that you have by chance? that was required for this. Maybe it might benefit us both, depending upon what the task may be.
Oh, there's many things you could be doing. But it doesn't do you any good to have someone else tell you what to do.
That's true. Well,
roll me an insight check.
okay. Oh, there you go. Ooh, 18. Wow, this dice is on fire today. 24.
24. As she's talking, you've noticed that her personality doesn't fit any myth or dragon you ever heard of. They tend to be much more arrogant in your experience.
As they noticed that, they cocked their eyebrow curiously. Just curious, where did you reside at before here?
Well, I have many places. Sometimes here, sometimes with the elves. Oh, I've spent a few years in Pantheris. That was fun. Why do you ask?
You're just a bit different from most mytho dragons I've seen.
I am a very unique person.
Well, that is good to know. Nevertheless, if the mapping is secured, I will definitely let the others know about this task. And let them know that we came across you. Your name was Etheria, correct?
Ethra, but
Ethra.
close enough.
Ethra. There we go. Well then, I will return back to my group and let them know of our findings. Yeah, I do hope we could be able to see each other again sometime. It's nice to meet more like myself here at Alexandria.
Perhaps. Do you intend to go and look for your sister?
I do.
Do you think you could find her?
Oh, I will. There's no thinking about it.
Very well. I wish you luck.
Aspen nods, noticing the questions, keeping that in mind, and he returns back to the group. When he sees the other, they will say, well, we had a visitor. Not sure how she was able to find us here, but it's not of alarm. Her name is Ethra. It's the individual that provided Dio with her task.
I'm assuming Reagan is there at that point.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Indeed. She was receiving the information about the underground location just from Dio. She was disappointed that they were not able to locate, I guess, the undead presence that she was searching for. But
if she's as seasoned as you say, friend, I wonder why this new friend of yours didn't wish to embark on the journey herself.
She was quite different. She was a mytho dragon. Yeah, her personality was very different from those I've seen. So she's an enigma in her own right. Something I have to keep an eye out. But nevertheless,
is that meant to be significant in some way, friend? A dragon's coloring?
Could be. Often they could say our coloration could play a role in our personality traits. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't.
Interesting. I'm learning so much from you all.
Oh, same. I've learned a lot about the 8th or 9th circles known as Texas, so it's a very interesting endeavor.
And let us not forget Minnesota, friends.
Oh, yes, Minnesota and their unique ordeal towards housing. This is
Minnesota, we're going through a little bit of a crisis, you might say, but we're resolving it the best that we can.
That's all that matters, I guess.
Perhaps Dio and the Floridians can mount a defense to help you.
I'm sure we can. We just have to find each other. I
do
bet
not
we're
know.
very near each other, I believe Canada is also north of Florida, so that couldn't be too far from Minnesota.
Interplanar travel is seen to be far beyond my wheelhouse. I wouldn't have any idea how to even start to look into such things. The nearness of one land to another.
There's stories of the fabled from the land of Florida, the fabled Florida man.
I do believe Dio did mention this, and it was further exonerated by you. But what now, friends?
Well, now I say you rest, because tomorrow we have a surveyor to meet at a new keep to call our own. As you may imagine, us dragons, we have a particular interest and passion towards homes once we find one. And to have one that I could have to claim as my own horde did not think would come so early, but it's exciting nonetheless.
Lady Pilla, would you be willing to keep watch for us and let us know if something occurs?
I suppose I can do that.
I thank you kindly.
My Drake will also stand on a guard with the wyvern to make sure nothing takes place.
As you wish, friend.
Reagan, I believe you were gone during this time. So just to recap a bit, they are currently having a sale for 50% off all magic items during the festivities. So when we return, if there was an additional item you'd like to obtain, such as an armor piece of sorts, this week would be the best time to do it. Otherwise, prices will return back to normal.
Thank you, friend. That's so good to know.
And with that, they're going to grab one last taco and chew it down before heading to rest.
Let me see one last taco in the chat.
Yep.
No,
one last.
Not do that. Are there any other conversations you all wish to have before you turn in for the evening?
I guess Reagan would just try to go to sleep again and downplay his little excursion as much as possible. Again, he believes he snuck out successfully. So
Reagan was so stealthy.
So stealthy.
He believed in himself. He really did.
That's the ticket. You got to believe in yourself.
All right. And as you all settle in for the evening, that's where we are going to take our break for the evening. So we're going to stop here for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we will pick right back up to see where our story leads us. So go take a break or take care of whatever you need to, then come right back to join us for the rest of the story.
Ree's going to bring the chat grits, so make sure you bring your bowls. It's been how many sessions?
All right. Hello, everyone. We have made it back. We're a little bit late, but we are here. And, everything that's good in life is worth the wait. So you have to wait patiently. I think that's what that quote means. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, we are going to dive back into this. And to start things off, you all do get the benefits of your short rest, your long rest, or short rest. You both. So add your spell slots, your health, all that good stuff. If you are afflicted by anything, you are good now. And you are coming to earlier in the morning. Now we'll say it's, for most of you, we'll say it's about 8ish in the morning. You do awaken to find that Pila and the Wyvern are pretty much in the same position you left them in the night before. They don't seem to have moved or really done much of anything. And you do see the beginning rays of sunlight coming in through the entrance of the cave. And with that, I leave it to you all. What would you like to do?
Did you say we're a little ray of sunlight?
Reagan's gonna rise and shine. He's just gonna, get up and stretch again, like you all saw him do in the evening. And just quickly survey the room, see who's awake, who's not, what's going on.
Dewdrop is gonna look for a lake to swim in
Ooh.
and turn into
Let's
water.
look at
Whatever.
the map.
Oh.
Well, Dewdrop, currently
Yay! No.
there are no lakes near you.
Is there a river of any kind?
No, not really, no. But
Create water.
if you get closer to the city, you could jump into the bay. Would you have to be in the city? That.
I'm gonna turn to a rain cloud, I guess. Can I do that?
No.
Why not?
There's no spell.
I'm made
for
of
that,
water.
That's not how that works. Your race is
I
not made of
can't
water.
totally do that.
I
I just turned myself into water. It's just an art thing.
I don't really think.
It only applies when I feel like it.
In your heart, you can be made of water.
I already am. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna wild shape.
Yeah,
Wake
depending
up in the
on
morning.
Wild shape
shape.
into
how that
water.
works. Well,
Why?
while
Water is a
Dewdrop-
living creature.
No, it's not. While Dewdrop is having a mental breakdown at the moment.
You're
the
having a
rest of
mental
you up to?
breakdown.
I think it may be the heat. She may need to go like it's being affected by all the heat.
So Aspen is going, of course, is awake. Playing to gather their items together because they're Aspen is definitely our early morning riser. Yeah, I think the only thing they're going to do before they'll start packing their stuff up and putting them on top of the cart to prepare making their way to the surveyor. But they're going to look towards the others and just verify, are we all going to head to the city? Will it be okay if we leave Hila by herself for a few hours while we obtain this location for the keep?
I could stay with her friend, even though I'd like to see the festivities. I do have a duty to uphold.
I can stay here with the Wyvern.
Will you be all right alone, my lady?
Yes.
Pretty sure I can stay here with you. It seems like it's hot outside.
I can take care of myself. I do not need a baby.
I mean, I'm not offering to stay because I don't think you can. I'm just saying maybe it's too hot for me outside and I can hang out here in the not hot area that is the cave.
I'm not worried about your power, my lady. I'm worried about you remaining inconspicuous.
Hey guys, roll persuasion at disadvantage.
I knew that disadvantage was coming. I knew that disadvantage.
Why a disadvantage? Why?
Have you ever
tried
convincing? Have you tried convincing
I
a
said I
teenager
don't
not
care.
to do something? Again, you can say that. But
I said
convincing
I
Reagan
don't-
give the
What?
help
She
action
doesn't want.
to Dewdrop.
What does the help action
you
do?
could-
Give you advantage,
can-
which will cancel out your
yeah.
disadvantage.
Oh, you know what? I can do that.
I have to volunteer to help you, though, so I'm doing that.
See? So it's
Because
just a
Reagan
straight
did,
roll.
in fact, say that
Just-
line that he said.
Just for guys, the help action no longer works. No, but you can roll it straight. You can roll it straight, guys.
Ree, look at me.
That's because
Hey, Ree, look at me, Ree.
Yeah.
Ree, look at me, Ree. Look at me.
Oh yeah, true.
Ree,
Yeah.
Ree, just look at me. Just look at me, Ree.
Yeah, yes.
Are you
but
looking at me?
How can I help you?
You
How
look
can I help you
biased.
today?
I love
Liza?
you.
How could I help you? That's very sweet. You still
What?
have to
I was not expecting
said
that. I was expecting the F bomb to be released.
The twist.
Yep, the curveball.
9:18.
Hot twist.
Yep.
She doesn't seem to react, but she just kind of looks at you for a moment, and you can do as you wish.
I'm gonna stay here with her.
Are you sure you don't want me to go into town for anything, Dewdrop?
We could
Okay.
taste. So there's nothing you desire, like an armor piece or anything.
I know we can't
have-
enter your home, but we can get you something in the market.
I have all I need in my little thing here, and I present my little bed space. But I wouldn't say no to food.
Layla will
what
have
would
to
you-
take care of that. She has understanding of the culture.
I am well. Our cultures are very different. But what would you like?
Chocolate cake, and ice cream, and iced tea, with everything that is cold that you can think of would be great for me right now.
Are there any particular flavors that you do
Sweet.
not like? Sweet.
Oh,
Okay.
do not like spicy foods. Sweet, you can drown me in sweet things. Sweet and savory, even, if you wanted to.
Okay. I got this. I got this.
All right, fair tiefling, I'll leave that to you, I suppose.
Very
Yes.
well.
I got this. I got this. I got this. She's very excited.
Oh, Reagan is absolutely excited. You can tell he's like, festival.
All right, perfect. And I guess we start.
This is not the fighting yet, right?
No,
It's
this ain't fighting day yet.
All right, then I'll just stay here with her.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah, we
want to
got-
miss the. I
we
don't want
got
to miss
3
the
days.
fighting festival.
Yeah, we got 3 days for that takes place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we
Well,
got
this will be
3.
2 days now.
Yeah, 2 days now. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it's 3
Alright.
days now. It was 4 before. It was
Oh, it's
3
4,
days
now it's
starting
3.
today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we on day 3.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Trace.
All right. So I guess we make our way into Alexandria in our cart, our Oregon Trail cart.
While you all are traveling, good guys, was there anything you wanted to say? Anything Dewdrop wants to say to Pilar? Are you going to sit in silence?
We're gonna sit in silence. I could talk to her if she wants to, but I meant what I said. I am not staying there for her. I'm staying there for me. So I don't want her to think that I'm staying there to guard her.
Sure. Well, Aspen, Reagan, Layla, and Axel, are there conversations you all wish to have while you are in transit?
Was there any interesting music last night?
Yes, there was this very particular song. I can't remember it, but it involved a lot of shuffling.
Too legit.
Yes.
Too legit.
I think we should look for a location that has some sort of water. Basically natural resources would probably be best. Water is important, obviously, but maybe some trees. If we know of anything else, I'm sure there won't be anything too valuable, but we should at least have the basics. And woods to hunt in would definitely be a helpful basic.
Well, I don't think keeps. Well, we'll see. We have to see what type of keeps are around. Hopefully, we can find a keep that has that type of additional resources surrounding it. But again, I am not fully familiar with this area, so we'll have to leave it to the surveyor to be able to provide us with that type of location. Did you all wish to attempt to go to the surveyor, or were everyone planning on going to different locations?
I'd love to meet your friend.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how good I am going to be with real estate.
I know quite well that you will have a really special way of dealing with individuals. So you have
got me
nothing-
this lovely sword, after all.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that was easy. That was like a shop clerk, and this is like something I'm very unfamiliar with, so I don't want to botch it. And you did such a good job with the person that we sold all those jars to.
The centaur individual. I forgot what his name was. Nevertheless, you only thing you have to do, Ace Burks, it says, just have him hold your great sword. You should be fine.
Well, I mean, I don't exactly trust anyone to hold my items, my weapons.
Okay.
But
Miss
I did
Burke,
want to look at armor because this and she like pokes at her leather armor is good, but not as like good as it could be.
do you not possess natural armor? And they kind of like tap against your forearm to see how dense it is.
Ow.
Boom.
Not everyone's built like you, friend.
Hmm.
But if
Interesting.
it's armor of which you speak, I am quite well versed in different kinds of armor. I could accompany you if you do not wish to depart immediately upon us entering town.
Oh, so surveyor then armor?
I like the sound of that. What say you, friend Axel?
Yeah, I could probably, there's always something better to be found.
Yes.
So all
Such
of you
fest-
require this armor. Interesting.
Well, on the lookout anyway. I'm not wearing anything special. It's just normal attire. But we're always on the lookout for magical odds and ends.
No, I meant to more of the physical content that you possess. I was under the impression. I did not know that natural armor was not a common ordeal. And it kind of, so originally when Layla spoke of this, I thought perhaps it was of maybe Layla's lineage as to why they did not possess natural armor like scales or such. But I'm starting to understand that maybe it's just us who, or there's less people with natural armor than I assumed. So this is information for me.
Yeah, I certainly don't have any natural armor. I wouldn't want swords to be, or arrows to be pinging off my skin.
Friend, if I had natural armor, I'd be dead right now.
Why?
Remember how many hits I've taken so far? If I relied on my own natural armor, things would have been far worse.
I see. Very well. This is interesting. I will get to learn a bit when we come across this. The store. Well, carry on. Go on.
I remember my first set of armor back in Conisto. It was made of cotton, very thick cotton. But of course, my older brother lit it aflame, and I never saw Booba again.
You named your armor?
Of course I did, friend. It was one of my few possessions. You didn't name your scales?
No, I have so many scales. I wouldn't even know how to. And they just like look at arms and their feet and just like
Reagan gestures to his scale armor like, this is Delphi.
Interesting. cultural infusion. But yeah, they'll continue making their way over to this affair.
All right. If there are no more questions, it takes you a couple of hours to reach the city. And as you approach, you find that the city is once again alive with activity. You see people are out in droves buying and selling things, and the overall crowding of the city is making it difficult for you all to kind of stick it together. As you all arrive, what would you like to do?
Oh yeah, I think we're making our way to the surveyor, right?
Gotta park first, I guess.
I mean, it would be quite difficult to drag this entire cart through the city at this point. It is very the normal kind of main pathway has been crowded as people are rushing to and from.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But if you wish to try and force it, you can give me an animal handling check at this.
Nah, I wouldn't try that. If the area is pretty much stacked up like it's Comic-Con, they're gonna park the car
that works
at the stables and make their way there.
Okay. It does take you a few more minutes than it did the first time, but you are able to find the surveyors. It's still this kind of tent with the flag of the Dragon Empire, and there is still the other half dragon that is standing outside at his post.
Perfect. And so they'll make their way forward to say, "Excuse me, actually, I did not get your name from last time. What was your name?"
Ambin.
Ambin.
I thought you did ask that last time.
I did?
Mm-hmm.
I thought so.
Oh, Cabin. Oh, yeah, Cabin. Sorry. Yeah, he was the Wind Dragons. Okay. Cabin. Oh, yes. So sorry. Scratch that out because actually I did have that in my notes. So it's the Centaur who I didn't get the name of.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. Cabin. Oh, so we're here to if you could provide us with some places of residence that we could purchase, so keeps that you may have awareness of.
One moment, I will speak with the surveyor for you. And he does step into the tent proper. Do you also wait outside?
Yeah,
They get chilling.
Mm-hmm. But there is like a permanent mini smile on their face. You know, for those who may be aware, it's perhaps one of the happiest that Aspen has looked, because the smile hasn't gone away while they're waiting.
How much are you trying to hide it, if at all?
Yeah, they're not hiding it, but they're not really realizing that they're permanently smiling as they're waiting.
Like, someone's excited, friend.
A few moments later, a young woman steps out. She's wearing kind of a almost steel colored dress that it seems to be very kind of loose fitting and very flowy. And she has her hand in both of her pockets at the moment, and she steps out. You can see glinting in the sunlight is inside of her long black hair are thin strips of steel that are kind of just almost braided into her hair. And then she looks around, she looks at you, Aspen, and smiles. "Oh, you've come back to find me already."
Ethra?
Etia. This is Etia.
Etia? Oh, Etia.
Yeah, separate.
Listen, I understand I am not a voice actor, but I do my best, okay? I do what I can.
And who might this stunning dragonborn be?
Oh, she's not a dragonborn.
She is not, friend. You know Miss Man Ignorant. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Reagan Ignorant.
Mm-hmm. He looks towards Etia and she says, no, she is of the half dragon variety.
Oh, so that's right. You did tell me about you all coming in different shades and colors. I apologize, my lady. Reagan Perro, Paladin of Ados.
Oh, you are Paladin. Can you smite stuff?
If I hit it, I haven't been able to do that as of late, but
Are you unable to hit stuff?
I've been rather unlucky in my past few combat ventures.
And ethereal force, known as roll 20, makes sure of this.
That is unfortunate. Well, anyway, what can I do for you?
We're looking to locate a keep of sorts that we can obtain as our own. Something of a decent variety, maybe a small or a medium castle that has nice lumber, decent amount of resources. So therefore we could be able to call that as our place of residence.
Okay. Well, so I have news. Technically, the last not used keep was kind of purchased by a weird group of adventurers that had a very strange dragonborn with them. It was very fun to talk to for a while, but it's kind of, yeah, it's not. Technically, you can build a keep on just empty land, technically. If you have permission, of course.
So you're saying there's no keeps available for sale, but we could be able to buy land and build a keep from scratch. Is that correct?
Technically, yes.
Why do you keep saying technically?
Friend,
Roll a
don't you
persuasion
realize we're just puppets in in this housing market?
Roll a persuasion. Roll a persuasion check.
All right. Well, I get advantage because it's a dragon.
You get advantage.
Mhm.
You get advantage because you're special with dragons. And you get to be all special for the dragons.
Perfect. 17.
She kind of hesitates for a moment. Well, okay, so technically speaking, yes. However, there is the Mystic Isle, which is technically empty now because the last people who went there disappeared and never came back. So it doesn't technically belong to anyone, which also means that technically you can't buy it because it doesn't technically belong to any country.
It doesn't
is
belong to any country.
No.
Well, we don't have to buy it. Wait,
We could
You
just
could simply claim it.
we could claim it. Where is this Mystic Isles you speak of?
Have a map?
We do, right? I'm presuming we do.
I would
I
hope
would say
so.
you all would probably have a map generally for
Mm.
traveling and stuff.
Yes, we do.
Well, assuming you remove her map, she does point to it. And if you all will look at your world map,
Roll 20.
Yeah. Look at you with the fancy readouts.
oh,
Okay.
fancy.
the,
So
the Mystic
fancy.
Isle is over here.
We got topography and everything.
Oh, we get to claim this little area. Okay.
We're so fancy.
All right.
Mystic Isle is right there.
Where'd you mark it? It's us.
You should
Oh,
be able
okay.
to see my
Northwest. I'm with
poster.
you. I'm with you.
So, in order to be able to head to that direction, we will need to require a boat for those who cannot fly. Is that correct?
I mean, unless you can run out water, which would be kind of cool.
A friend of ours can, but I think all of us have different skill sets.
If only that captain we knew would, if we wouldn't have had that incident, we might be able to secure transport.
Well, that shouldn't be a worry. I'm presuming with the funds that we have, we should be able to obtain a ship of sorts as a permanent spot, especially if we do not have to worry about purchasing a keep. Some of the funds can definitely go to owning a ship and having a captain involved with that ship.
Do you wish to have a captain on retainer? Oh, that's too
You-
smart for Reagan. He don't. Oh,
All right. We will most likely need one, unless we would rely on ourselves to pilot the ship back and forth. I will be honest. I have many strengths of piloting a ship, or the roles within the ship is not one of them. So,
are you by chance a captain, lady, or your friend there?
How do you define captain? I've been on a boat. I've been on a boat before. It doesn't look hard.
I'll take that as a
Okay,
no.
Fine.
very well. In that case, I guess we could go multiple routes. If you would like, you all can head to this to the armor shop to purchase some armor, and I can attempt to secure us a permanent ship to fly us. To take us to the Mystic Isles. Would that work?
Perhaps your friend could go with you. You could secure a pretty lucrative offer.
Would
He
you like
seems
to
to
come?
have pretty high standing.
Would you like to come with us, Atia?
Roll at advantage persuasion.
Yeah. Reagan with the hookup. We been new. We been new.
Oh, another natural 20. I would take that. Thank you for that, because that first roll was a 10.
I got you, big dog. You already know.
Well, I mean, you guys are probably gonna need someone that can get money and stuff to build to keep with. So I guess I could do it. Sure.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, it's nice to have you with us.
Sounds good.
Yes. Oh,
Before
perfect.
Aspen makes their way away, Reagan's gonna he probably would just have to lean upward a little bit, and then just be like, "You might want to watch your wingspan, there, friend."
What do you mean?
Reagan's just gonna grin and then head over to Layla, like, "Shall we depart?" The hardest finesse. I mean, if you want an insight check, Reagan, you're more than welcome to.
Aspen, I think just looks curiously, but he also knows that Atia is a high priority individual. So yeah, he just looks curiously, but like, there's not sure about that one.
So when we're done shopping for armor, Dewdrop asked for like chocolate cake and ice cream, but I'm kind of worried that the ice cream will melt before we get home. I was wondering if they had any of that deep fried ice cream. That could theoretically be kept cool.
Yo, fam.
I remember what you said about ice boxes in this world. Could ice cream successfully be achieved during an event like this?
You have seen people carry things before, but you would need to buy like basically a bag of cold.
Okay.
That's basically what it is.
All right.
But yeah, there are food preservation things that exist.
Well, we can just get it on our last stop, I suppose, and get one of those bags of cold I've heard about.
That would be a good idea. I just want to make sure like her ice cream gets to her okay.
Yes, I've witnessed Dewdrop when she's hangry.
Well, she said it was warm, so I just wanted to make sure she was going to be comfortable because she's not in her house. Maybe her house has a different atmosphere because she's from Minnesota. Like maybe there's some Minnesota technology that she has.
Well, I wouldn't know. I haven't been invited in, nor do I think she ever plans to. So I don't pry if I'm not welcome.
Well, I know I'm not prying either. I just thought maybe because we've got her away from her house, she might like just something nice and cool.
Dewdrop hasn't expressed this to me. I suppose I never considered such a thing. Dewdrop's always been tough, you know, able to handle herself.
That is true. All right, armor and then an ice cream and a bag of cold. Are you guys coming with us?
No.
And there was Axel.
Axel. Who are you referring to? Axel or Aspen?
Both.
I know Aspen. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Aspen said, no, we're going to head towards the Bay Area to purchase a ship. Since I and he looks to her, we both would not really require armor. We're different. But we'll meet you back here after we're able to secure a ship.
Okay.
Not say we built different. We half dragon. We just built different.
Yeah, we just built different.
But yeah, Reagan's all set to head out with Layla. Axel, you with Aspen, or are you doing your own thing?
No, you know what? I'll come along with for Icebox. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna go with Aspen because I feel like looking at boats. I get a lot of time to play on boats. Boats are fun.
Baller. Okay.
All right, then you two are split up, and we are going to follow Reagan and Layla as they attempt to find themselves some armor. No, wait. No, yeah, Layla
armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She is going. Now, would the weaponsmith they visited yesterday also had armor?
I mean, you didn't see any armor, but I mean, it makes sense to you. You know, you make stabby stuff in the same place you make not stabby stuff. Why not?
She'll go back there and ask.
Oh, so that's where we're headed? Like, Reagan's
Mhm.
following you because you've seen festival stuff prior to this. Even though Reagan knows town to a degree.
Her thought is that guy was very nice. Maybe he has stuff.
What?
But if Reagan wishes to course correct her to someplace he knows, she will let him because she's just like la 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 la.
Reagan's got a plan. Reagan is definitely also enamored by Layla, so he's just happy to be a day on the town. So he's doing his thing. He's geeking out a little bit about armor.
All right. As you approach, this time you find that there are people coming and going from the shop. It seems to be much busier than it was when you first arrived. And as you enter, the actual air in here is cool, but there's about 3 people in front of you who seem to already be in the middle of ordering various things.
She's just gonna look around to see if she sees any armor.
You see pieces of armor. Like you can see what looks to be like a helm. You can see what looks to be like maybe a gauntlet, maybe like some sort of enchantment on it, or it may be in the process of being created. But you don't see any full sets of armor at the moment.
No, we can just ask.
I guess we have to wait our turn then, Layla.
Oh, this is where we got your sword from.
Oh, Reagan perks up even more.
He had a really unique contraption that was a bit weird. But he does really good work.
I see. So many things you both got up to when I wasn't around. But I can't wait to see this wonderful craftsman.
I am very excited.
Have you thought heavily about your choice in armor?
Well, I'm not that strong, so I have to get the stuff that doesn't weigh too much. So maybe really honestly, I don't know much about armor.
Well, you see, and Reagan's gonna give his understanding of geeking out about armor. Like I'll cut it in case you want to get into some read. Like I can I can fill
will
time, but
have plenty of time to converse. But eventually it does come to your turn, and this same metallic figure is standing there, and he looks at you all. Yes.
Hello. I was wondering if you did armor, like and she'll gesture to like the light armor she's wearing.
you
Yes,
must
I
be the
create armor.
proprietor.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Reagan Farrow, paladin. I believe you crafted my sword.
I think so. I don't recognize it though. Do you have it with you? Is there a
And
problem with it?
you see Reagan just hold his hand up and just you see a great sword appear and him catch it up above him. Interestingly enough, with one hand. Y'all got high perception. So you would know, Layla would know that when Reagan snuck out of the cave, he was holding that great sword with 2 hands with effort. Now it doesn't seem like so much effort.
Filing that away for a later conversation.
Like,
It doesn't look like a sword I created.
well, that's odd. Layla told me that the sword came from here.
Yes, we
Lila,
bought.
it doesn't look anything like the sword you gave to Reagan at
Oh,
all.
did you add some touches to it?
Little decals here and there.
That's probably why.
Gotta personalize it.
Hey, well, you were looking for armor?
Yes.
What kind of armor?
The doesn't weigh too much, but will do more of more protecting than this one.
And what kind of armor are you wearing, Layla?
She has. Hold on. She's got just leather armor.
Oh,
Ooh, you rocking with that 12 plus dex. Okay.
I have.
Ooh.
I can give you studded leather armor. For
She looks at
20
Reagan.
gold.
Surely you can do a little bit better than that, friend. You strike me as someone who knows their way around weapons and armor. Like someone of your talents must have something much more prestigious and perhaps fun for Layla here.
I have many things, but they are expensive.
Well, we'll see about that. What could you possibly have that could help a budding adventurer like us outside of your standard fare, which we could get anywhere?
I have armor that will make you able to breathe underwater and swim.
That does sound
It
useful.
It also has fish and shell designs on it, if that's your thing.
Not really. I'm much more of a warm and toasty girl.
I have armor with elemental damage resistance.
That's more of my speed.
Oh, I have poison and psychic. Poison or
Oh.
psychic, those are two separate pieces of armor.
Let's do the psychic, cause she's already resistant to poison.
Be
Psychic damage, was it?
2,500 gold.
Whoa. Psychic, was it, friend?
Yeah.
Resistance to psychic damage? How do I know you're not playing a mind game on me now, friend? I mean, yes, everyone can see stray fire bolts hitting armor and things clashing against armor, but how do I know this really works and you're not just trying to upsell us?
Because I don't care if you buy anything or not.
Insight.
Roll insight.
Layla's gonna take the money out of her personal, not out of the group stuff. She's gonna take it out of the personal one.
18.
You get the feeling that this machine does not care either way.
500?
Well, if you don't care if people buy things, then perhaps you don't care if it's let go for a little bit less than what's offered.
Well, stuff's already half off.
Regular.
Here's 500.
2,500.
2,500?
Are you willing?
Yeah.
Are you really willing to
Yes.
pay for this as it is?
Wait, did you say 500 before or 2?
2,500.
Okay, then she will take it from the group one. She's only got 500 on her.
Are you sure? We're just starting out after all, and resistance to such a damage, we won't even know if it works until something fatal happens to us.
Well, if it happens, you'll at least know to come back. Do you guys have like a return policy if I die by a psychic damage?
No.
Return policy if I die.
What can Reagan roll to negotiate for a lower price?
You could try persuasion at disadvantage.
I will take it. I will try it.
You're
Can,
fighting uphill.
Can
You're fighting an
Layla
uphill battle.
can Layla assist to make it a straight roll?
Yes, can Layla assist by being her
how?
charming, persuasive self?
How are you gonna help? I will give this to you, but I just want to know how are you gonna help?
I'm just a little bit concerned because like 2,500 gold is a lot to spend, and if it doesn't work and I die because something smacks me in the brain, I'm a bit concerned that you don't have a return policy.
No, I do not guarantee that you won't still be killed.
Well, if I'm killed by somebody stabbing me, then that's fine.
That doesn't sound too good for business. Armor that doesn't work.
Doesn't mean that it does not work. If you have armor of fire resistance and you jump in a volcano and you still die, it's not the fault of the armor.
Are you sure about that? That sounds like an
Yes.
armorer who's not up to making that kind of stuff.
There are limits to what armor can do. I
Is
will
there?
let Layla's attempt their count. So sure, you could make a straight roll.
Yippee.
She's inquiring about their return policy.
All right, normal persuasion. Let's get, wait. No, he wouldn't be able to get away with it. It's got a verbal component. I was about to be like bless, but no. All right. 26. Let's go. High rolls at last. Let's go. Let's
Because
go.
you all keep coming back, I can give you regular leather armor of psychic resistance for 2,000 gold.
Why is this armor so expensive? Sorry, I'm not there, but why is this
Rare
place
magic
so
items are expensive, guys.
I think I heard Dewdrop's voice in the ether.
You did.
Rare magic items are expensive.
That's too much money.
supposed to be saving it for our castle? Just saying.
What if we make you an offer, friend?
Can't refuse.
I am very thirsty. I would like
Reagan
some
is
iced
going
tea.
to pull out his jar of black tar and go, I'll tell you what, friend. This is a very rare tar that gave my friend a more protective quality to their scales. I could see an artisan such as yourself creating something rather unique with an item such as this. And my friend here has recently sold some, so coming across an item such as this would fetch a very high price if you try to attain it on your own. Very rare. So my question to you is, in good faith, of course, what are you willing to offer for it?
Well, this does me no use since I do not have skin to use it, and I'm not an apothecary, but I'll give you the armor for it.
And Reagan looks at Layla because Reagan does not necessarily, he knows it's worth a lot, but the specific number was not specified to Reagan.
She's looking at him with like saucer eyes. As I think it was considerably more than that.
Well, my friend here says you can do better than this. It's worth much more.
Someone with skin, probably. But I am mostly machine.
I mean, you can sell it. Sorry, I'm not there.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though.
Perhaps Dewdrop has become a crow or something.
You said that, like, last session, I was getting the impression that this suit of armor, golem of whatever sort, like, had a big fascination with creating unique weapons. You see what I'm saying? Because it brought out that fancy thing, got real excited. This is Reagan saying, like, are you up to the challenge to make something crazy out of this?
Well, a persuasion check with advantage.
Yippee.
Let's see if you could because this by itself doesn't have any actual damaging properties. So it's gonna be a sell.
Well, but on the armor side, come on.
Shoot. It is an option.
All right, persuasion with advantage. 24.
Perhaps. Fine, you can have both sets of armor.
What do you think of this, Layla?
I mean, like, that jar of tar was like a lot of money. Like, we sold 6 of them, and we got like she'll like pat the bag on her shoulder side. We could literally just go sell it.
My friend says that selling it would be a better offer, and I mean, there's you just getting average coin versus a strange and very rare raw material.
There aren't many people who can make armor that resists the psychic damage anyway. So you'd have to come back here regardless.
You sound so certain.
So how about this? We'll give you the tar and both sets of armor. But if you make anything special with that tar, we get first dibs.
You can have the bow staff as well.
No, we could not pick that thing up.
You might one day be able to pick it up.
I assure you that I could not pick that up, even if I was 10 years older and nothing. It's a very lovely weapon. I feel like it deserves a better home.
Yourself.
You've got to sweeten this deal somehow, friend. Adventurers about to go on an adventure. Try out for the
I
guild.
can tell you where to find other armor.
Well, perhaps this one is not sold on this. What say you, Layla? Do you want to just pay for the traditional way?
We're also supposed to be saving for a keep, but I don't know how much money that's going to cost. Well, if in a pinch, we can take that back to the nice centaur and sell it, and it'll be more than enough to cover this armor.
As you wish, friend. Money comes and goes, but rarities are hard to come by.
All right, I'll just pay for it.
If there was a share that
So-
Reagan had, Reagan would pay his share.
Suit yourself.
That's a pun, and I hate you for it.
He does eventually. He does step away and return. There are two suits of armor. One is leather, and one is studded leather. I mean, they both do seem to have a faint trace of magical energy on it. I don't believe either of you have detect magic. or
Eldritch
identify.
Sight.
Oh, that is detect magic, doesn't it?
Yes,
So
it
you
is.
definitely can tell the magic is there, and it is definitely abjuration magic. But I don't believe that tells you the exact magic that is on it. But you definitely know it is protection magic.
It is definitely magical, Layla, of the abjuration variety, but I'm no wizard.
Neither am I. We'll pay for it. We'll just give that to Aspen so they can sell it.
So both of them together straight up is 4,500 gold.
Think you gotta get one. We talked them down to 2,000 on the traditional leather with the enchantment on it, right?
Yeah, the leather, the regular leather is 2,000. The studded is 2,500.
Layla will hand over 500 from her personal, and then the 2,000 from the
Hand over 250. Reagan will put in 250. So they together we got the 500.
Just to clarify, we split it in half, right? You have 7,000 for you, and I have the other 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
To make sure.
Only 250, not 350.
You heard what I said, and I'm with you though. 250, not 350, because then you're gonna ask for it back.
Yeah. She'll hand it over.
You not
You
wish
hand
to
over
know about
250.
the
I
other
hand over
armor?
250.
Well, no, she's holding over just the 500 out of her personal because she's trying to use as least of the party's money as possible.
Reagan is going to help you. He's that kind of person.
No,
Yes,
no, I got
he
this. I am a
said,
strong,
"Do you
independent
not
woman.
Wish to know about the other armor?
You should have told me this before we went into an armor shop together.
What about the other armor?
There's armor that is lost in an ancient temple that was belonging to a god,
Wait,
according to the stories."
Ree, you just gonna drop a whole legendary quest.
Dude, it's
Out
simple.
of
He said, "I will tell you where there's other armor."
He did.
It's very.
I thought he was talking about like
Oh.
another shop, not like,
not
yo,
what he
this is
said.
ancient
It's
too.
not what he said. It's not what he said. It's not what he said. He is
There's an
very
ancient.
straightforward.
Good grief.
He is very straightforward. He says what he means and means what he says.
Location.
It is believed to be underwater, somewhere between here and the Dragon Empire. Probably closer to the Mystic Isles, perhaps. I've never
Ooh,
traveled
that's
there
on
to
the way.
find out.
Oh, that sounds interesting. We'll definitely have to check it out. It's not like guarded by like a giant snake, is it?
I don't think giant snakes can swim.
You would be surprised. We have these these snakes where I
Intrusive
come
armor
from.
don't sell things.
Well, you know, we in Texas we have these type of snakes called copperheads, and they swim very well.
They sure do. Snakes can swim.
I don't
Snakes
know
can
where this
swim.
place is. I can neither confirm nor deny that there is a giant snake guarding the armor.
Well, we'll
Well,
figure that out. Here's the money. Thank you again. We'll get ice cream, and then hopefully the guys are done looking at boats. Unless you wanted something, Regan.
no, I'm satisfied at the moment, but you never introduce yourself fully to me. Do you have a name by which you go?
Oh, Cyrus.
Ah, pleasure to meet you, Cyrus.
I believe he said, "Oop, Cyrus."
Oops, Cyrus. Is it actually Oops, Cyrus or Cyrus?
No, it is Cyrus.
All right. I wrote Cyrus earlier, so I'm just saying. But
It is Cyrus.
like, well, hopefully we get to see you and your wares again.
Right. And while you all are buying ice cream, we are going to see what Aspen and Axel have gotten themselves up to. So
Oh,
as you all are making
shopping.
your way down to the docks proper, you see that the shipping vessels are moving in and going in and out of the bay. Some of the smaller ones have begun to fish and have dragged kind of large nets over the end and have started to reel in fish of various sizes and different colors. Etia is with you. And what would you all like to do? How would you like to proceed?
Aspen will look towards Etia. Says, so we wouldn't need a ship that could carry a decent amount. Well, it may just be the 5 of us for now. To have a keep, we would need individuals that could take care of the keep, mercenaries that could perhaps keep an eye out, protect the keep, especially for people that may be staying with us, bodyguards, the captain of the keep, so forth and so on. So you may need a larger size for transport. Which one of these ships would you recommend?
Well, if you just want a big ship, I would recommend the Ashian Royal Navy vessels. Those are super cool.
What about you, Axel?
I
What
got
do
to
you
ride
think?
on one.
Well, I mean, do we just want it for fighting?
Well,
Or-
we would need a ship. Yes, for one, and he points to the map. The Mystic Isles is isolated, which means when we would bring in individuals to be part of our keep, such as cooks, guardsmen, and such, we may need a transport vehicle that would be able to contain many of these individuals. So I'm presuming we would need a larger ship for transport. By what is just to get your viewpoint as well before I look for a larger ship.
I think that's a good idea. You know, because not only will it be able to transport more people, but it when you know we can transport more goods with it too. You know, if we're on an island, it's going to be a more remote location, and so if we're going to make trips in, you know, we want to be able to bring as much as we can.
Very true. Very true. Glad we could confirm we're on the same page.
You're probably also going to have to pay for like stone and wood and stuff to build a keep, but
Yes.
kind of important.
Yeah. So we would definitely need a larger ship in that case. Very well.
I got you. Yep, I got this. I got this. It's fine. And you see her kind of rush off. She kind of disappears into the crowd of sailors and people a different way. Camden kind of just looks after her for a moment, but doesn't move.
Yeah. Aspen looks towards Cabia and say, "Do we wait here or do we?"
He will come back.
Very well.
She does this kind of thing a lot.
Good to know.
And about 20 minutes later, she comes back with a retinue of men and women of varying races. You see, some of them clearly have this kind of the shading, that pink shading on their skins from being sunburnt. You recognize a couple of Loxodon as well. And as they approach, she kind of looks up at you all and waves. Right. So I have good news. These people, well, technically one of them they have the big ship over there, and you see her point to like a small group of ships that are about 100 feet wide, off towards the end of the bay, and they are all willing to go to the Mystic Isle, if you pay for it, of course.
And how much is the
100
cost?
feet wide?
100 feet long, so it's 100 feet this way.
I'm about to say 100 feet wide. That's a battleship, dog. Like,
we coming in at force.
It's actually
One Piece
it's
style.
about 70 feet this way, though. It's 70 feet.
Oh,
horizontally.
70 feet.
70 feet horizontally. So it's 100 this way, 70 this way. So it is definitely, looking at it, it's definitely a ship that is meant for naval combat and things like that.
we're trying to buy an arc. Okay, then let's go.
We are truly turning it to One Piece. Okay. In that case, Aspen was towards
Oni Oriwa Naru.
in what case, and how much will be the charge for this transport?
It's only like 50,000 gold pieces.
50,000 for a one-time trip, or they would permanently reside with us?
I mean, they shall for you when you want them to, I guess. But I mean, did you see the looks of the Ford? You see they have two long tusks that kind of go about maybe 3 or 4 inches up, and you see they kind of have a scar going down the center of their trunk. Technically, if you want to own an Ashia crowning vessel, it is possible. Very few people have a need for such a ship permanently. But I have nothing better to do at the moment, so 50,000 gold, sure. It is your private vessel. But I am a captain, and those men are my crew.
Asper looks towards Axel to say, "What do you think?" Oh, first of all, can I make an insight check to see if this is a decent price, or are we getting Jimmy Rick?
You can go ahead, roll insight.
All right.
Roll insight as well.
Ooh, nice.
I'm here. Might as well. I got a natural 20.
Perfect. And I got a 23. So I think both of our radars are like beep 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 beep.
Yeah, 25.
You both feel it's probably accurate. Throwing your travels, you've both heard that the ships of Ashia are very dangerous, very powerful. And you know that this version of the ship they are referring to is definitely meant more for like combat on the seas. You could probably get one that isn't meant for that, but is cheaper.
Aspen will respect combat, especially because of how they are. And they'll look towards the others, to Axel to say, this seems like a fair price for what they.
I agree. Plus, it's not like we have a crew on hand. I don't know if the others even have any seafaring experience.
Exactly. Well, Aspen will move forward and says, well, in that case, well, it's a deal. And they'll provide, let's see. So we got 140, which means it's split to 70. piece. So that means I would give the 50. So I would have 20K left from it.
Yes. That sounds
Okay. All right. Well, so now we have our ship. We can let the others know and move forward from there.
I agree. I think it's been productive.
Mm-hmm. He says, well, we will see you all shortly. Have to gather the others. We will have actually a few more individuals to join us, that we could depart to the Mystic Isles. You should be able to leave by tonight if all fares well. Will you all be prepared and ready by then?
Oh, yes. But the trip will be a long one. Bring food.
You can't just go. You can't just go overnight to this place.
Yeah, hey, I paid you 50K. Let's go.
Oh.
Boom.
We got the adventurous deal. You got to lead to your sister.
Rest delivery. I want rest delivery on this one, like a Fiverr vendor. We got this. So
you don't know how many days at sea that's gonna be yet.
Hopefully it's not that. We'll see.
You didn't ask.
Oh yeah, and sure. Let me go ahead and ask. How long will it take for us to make it to the Mystic Isles? By the way,
Getting there safely will take about 2 weeks.
See, this is old school ships. This ain't like a steamboat or something, big dog. What you thought this was?
Well, that's longer than I anticipated. What good to know.
The water is unsafe. If you want me to rush it, we could do it in a week. But you're responsible for the ship if it is attacked or damaged.
Even a week isn't doable. We have faster priorities to address before we can do that. Very well. Thank you for that clarification. We will most likely be moving forward with going to the Mystic Isles in about a week plus time, give or take. So we'll keep you on standby until it comes.
Your choice.
Very well. And yeah, looks like Axel says, well, we may have to put our keep purchase or keep obtaining or hold for just a moment till we address the Adventures League test that you all wish to perform.
It's a good point. It makes me think, if we're gonna be living 2 weeks sail away from the Adventures League, are we really going to be doing much with them after we've finished their test and moved on?
No, I'll be honest. The Adventures League request didn't even come from me. It came for Reagan's and Dewdrop. It was their passion project. So as long as they wish to move forward with it, I will assist in their endeavors. But that is a good point.
Yeah, we should talk to them and talk to them about the travel time. Perhaps. And the Adventures League, perhaps, if we're going to be so far away, they might have different feelings on the matter.
Perhaps. All right. I believe we were going to meet back where we first started at the train union spot, so I guess we can return over there.
I'm going to go buy the finest marble for you guys.
The finest marble?
She darts off.
But it sounds interesting. I guess this is a pleasant for having a surveyor, I guess.
It could be worse.
Indeed. And they'll make their way back to the train union spot.
Okay. All right, then you all are going to meet up again. And is there anything you all wish to do in the city together? Your shopping is finished.
Gotta head on back. We got ice cream.
It's up to you.
Yeah, well, I'm presuming we're all meeting together at the train union spot, right? Or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we are, but it's like once we're there, it's just like Reagan's gonna be more like, can we walk and talk, friend? We've got this ice cream and we've got to make sure to get it back to Dewdrop in the best condition. I don't think you've seen Dewdrop when she gets angry.
Of course. Well, actually, you brought up the point. You should present it while we're waiting. We could also present it again when we meet up with Dewdrop. But you brought up a good point.
So Reagan, I was thinking we spoke with the ship, and it looks like the isle that we look to go make our new home is about a 2-week sail. 1 week if we want to be quick about it, but that's much more dangerous apparently. And so just with that in mind, it made me think: is this Adventurers League going to be worth our time? Like, are we going to be, able to work with or for them if we're living so far away from them? Because it won't be like we'll be spending, as much time here in this town. We'll be focused on building our own.
Joining the league would mean a lot to me personally, for I'll be able to increase our name and be able to name more nameless gods along the way. We'll also be able to build notoriety for the keep, and perhaps more friends would like to join us because they've heard about our exploits. And being a member of the Adventurers League gives us access to many different safe houses and locations, not just on this world, but many others. We are working with gods and other deities, and if we are suddenly whisked away, wouldn't it be nice to have somewhere we could go, someone who knows who we are? And
Yes, I suppose, but or is the Adventurers Guild, do they really keep tabs on everyone, that they're working with? I mean, I don't know, but I mean, maybe they have some magic that would do that, but I'm not aware of anything that would be. Well, I'm not aware of anyone that would really want to expend that kind of effort or cost for at least low level members, since it would take some time to build our prestige up.
but it all starts with one step, friend.
We have been definitely making lots of steps since we encountered them.
Well, we entered as a team, but I suppose we should decide this as a team. We are missing Dewdrop.
That is true. That is true. Dewdrop is an important member of the team, and we should probably find our friends soon.
Arethian Nights.
Although, to be fair, if we do go through with finishing our joining of this Adventurers Guild, it's not like it'll take very much longer. So losing another day or two isn't that big of a deal.
I agree. There's nothing wrong with at least taking the test and seeing how we do.
Well, let's. Shall we go seek out Dewdrop?
Anxiously, Reagan says as he's like minding the ice cream.
And with that, our focus is going to shift, and we are going to find ourselves checking in on our small group still nestled away in this cave. Dewdrop, what are you up to?
Dewdrop is meditating, but technically just keeping an eye on the goddess. But she's trying to meditate so that not to make the goddess think that she stayed back to make sure she doesn't get into any shenanigans.
Okay.
Just to let the
Roll
next person say shenanigans.
roll a perception check.
Okie dokie. Perception. 14.
Okay. You're sitting there. Your meditation is going by fine. And you check every once in a while. You notice that Pila and the Wyvern are still sitting where you left them. After about 20 minutes, you realize that neither of them have moved since you've been sitting here. And as you look closer, your vision kind of unfocuses, and you realize that you've been looking at an illusion.
Smart. I shrug and I say, all right, that makes sense. I'm gonna go try and look for them.
Okay. Roll either a survival or investigation.
All right, I'm gonna use survival. That is a natural 20 plus my 7 of 27.
All right, you are able to follow the trail pretty easily. You see there's some sections in the dirt and in some of the trees where you can clearly see like claw marks or the impact of like a tail that had smashed into it. And after trailing for a moment or two, you find the pair of them are sitting, or I guess in the wyvern's case, laying against this kind of very large stone, and there is a small group of people, like 2 or 3 of them, who were, they look to be like miners, perhaps. They kind of have this kind of like thicker, not quite burlap, but this thicker outfit. And then they have pickaxes, and they seem to be talking about something. And as you come up, they kind of all stop and turn to look at you. What do you do?
Is it like, so they already saw me, like I couldn't sneak in?
If you would like to try to sneak in, you can. Roll a stealth check.
I'm gonna try, and is it okay if I do pass without a trace?
It's up to you. It's your spell slot.
Yeah, I'll use it. I want to hear what they're talking about. Do a pass without a trace on the sea elf. That means at a 10. All right, let me just roll that. Mm, 23.
Okay. You manage to get pretty close, and you do overhear the conversation they're having, and you realize pretty quickly that they are discussing just nothing important. It just seems to be just kind of random conversation, really. Like you hear one of them's describing like how the day went in the mines. Another one that seems to be talking about whether or not it's going to be storming on the seas in the next day or two. You've noticed that Pila seems to be much more interested in just kind of listening. She seems to be more curious than anything else, and you see that the wild. I'll say with your ear roll, the wyvern seems to be more in a kind of laying there protectively than engaging in any sort of conversation or anything like that. And these 3 people seem to be very oddly okay with being near a wyvern. They don't seem to be panicked or scared or anything.
I'm going to stay hidden unless there is anything that is concerning, because I don't want this goddess to think that I just want them to think that they were successful.
And I will say,
Are they
since
gonna?
you've cast your spell, you will be pretty good for the most part, unless you do something out of the ordinary.
I'm just gonna see if how long to have this conversation, and if she goes anywhere else. If they are staying there for a while, I will keep an eye, like a close eye on them.
Okay.
I don't want our little goddess to feel that I'm spying her, even though I am.
Okay. They seem to stay there together for about another 40 minutes before you see these 3 people who are all human begin to leave. And you see the time changes, like the sun isn't quite going down, but you do see it kind of moving across the sky a little bit, and the kind of lighting becomes more like an amber or an amber color. And Pila and the wyvern leave.
Where do they head?
They seem to be heading further from the cave, though, the opposite
All right,
direction.
I'm
from
gonna
you.
stop them. I'm gonna go stand in front of them. Well, I'm gonna sneak past in front of them and be like, "Oh, hello. I was going for a walk myself. I'm wondering where you've been, but I did a little bit of yoga, did a little bit of stretching. Um,
I do not know what yoga is.
it's okay. You don't need to know. May I ask where you're going?
I believe my friend is hungry.
I see. Well, I guess we could go back to the cave and wait for the others for the food.
I do not believe he eats regular food.
Well, I guess we'll find out what he eats.
Roll intimidation.
Aye. Ah! That's another natural 20, bitch. Sorry, it's 21.
They both kind of. It's hard to describe a wyvern as staring at you, but they both kind of look at you for a moment before nodding and leaving.
All right. I will follow them as they head back into the cave.
They do.
Okay. And this time I don't take my eyes off of them. Just make sure I'm watching them so that they don't pull another illusion effect.
Nothing seems to happen.
All right.
And as you all are focusing intently on one another, I think that is where we're going to end our story for the evening. Thank you for those of you still watching. Thank you for checking in with us. It was a super interesting time here. We're going to go ahead and have our wonderful people reintroduce themselves and tell us about all the cool stuff they're working on. We are going to start with Kira.
All right. So all of that talk about ice cream and sweets. So I was just like, I needed to get some, so I got me some ice cream and sweets. But I'm Kira858. Of course, you'll be able to find all of our content on twitch.tv/Kira858, as well as the Cookout TTRPGs. We just recently announced a brand new campaign that'll be coming out July 6th, called Marvel's The New Vanguard. We're super excited about this campaign. It's going to be using the new Marvel Multiverse TTRPG playtest book, which is a lot of fun, very crunchy. So, but a lot of getting used to, but it's again a lot of fun. So keep an eye out for that. We have a lot of surprises in store for that campaign, and we have a couple of other new projects that will be coming up in the near future. So again, if you want to pay attention to all of the content that we're working on, just make sure to follow us on Twitter at the Cookout TTRPGs, as well as the Kira858 for all of our goodness. And that's me.
All right. Next up, Ari.
Hi, I am Ari. You can see me here, there, and everywhere else. Follow me at Small Shadow Snack on Twitter for possums and my general shenanery. I also did get ice cream out of my freezer because ice cream it made me want ice cream.
All right. Next up, Urswinger.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Earthringer, and I don't have ice cream, but I got my culinary skills, so I'll be alright. I got fresh cookies. But you can find me on Earthringer at YouTube. You can find me here on Twitch at Earthringer. You can find me also at the Cookout TTRPGs, where Kira allows me to act a fool, as I usually do, and not one, but two campaigns, one on hiatus. And you can also find me here tomorrow on ReeRoles here on Twitch, where I'll be playing a dramatically different character. You know what I'm saying? You know, like a little something gotta get to. People over here eating ice cream. I'm just wondering what rabbits want. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully you'll come and see me for that. Next caller.
Sir Monolith, you're up next.
Yeah, so as far as my current projects go, it's mostly just this Arethian Nights and the Price of Power on Monday nights here on Ree's channel. So at the same time, starts at the same time. So you should definitely come check it out. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, you can find me at Sir Miles on Twitter. I exist there, even if I don't say a lot. And yeah, that's about it for now.
Right, and last but certainly not least, Glyza.
Hey, I'm Glyza. I go by they, them. I'm a person of many hats. I'm a podcast host. I'm a writer, a variety streamer, the talk show host of a show called Trial Run. For my shows this week, I'm going to just quickly go through them because this week is pretty busy. Tomorrow, I'm not doing anything, but on Tuesday, I will be on Girls Run This Worlds, where I will be playing Kyria on Regency Remixed. And then on Wednesday, I will be on Neon Lights roleplay playing a Digimon trainer named Kian in With the Will. And then on Thursday, I'll be on Atomic Zero playing Mora, the space ninja, who was a scholar, but because of magic became a space ninja. And then on Friday, I will be on RP Knots as a daughter, a demigod daughter of um Morpheus, the god of dreams. So I'm very excited for that. I think we're visiting the Philippines pretty soon, so I'm kind of excited to see where that goes. And then on Saturday, I'll be going back to doing some charity work again. So if you want to help raise money for reproductive health, watch me and a couple of my friends read Angels with Scaly Wings, where I date dragons for money. Yeah. And that's it for me.
Okay, sure. All right, and last but certainly not least, you can find me all over the internet as well. I sometimes play over on the Cookout, sometimes. What? Did I miss something? Something else? No? Yes.
Miss Ari, right?
No, she already
Oh,
talked.
I did Ari, right? I think I did Ari. All right, did I forget you? Ari.
We went.
Well, Ari's not here, so.
I was eating
Sorry,
ice cream.
bud.
I definitely did my thing.
Yeah, I
Follow
didn't
me for possums.
forget anybody.
Go ahead, Ree.
You can find me all over the internet. Tomorrow I will be STing for the Price of Power, where we play V5, and these people get to discover what it's like being creatures of the night. I'm also playing. What am I playing? I also play in Reclamations, which is a lot of fun over on Cookout every Saturday. You should definitely check that out.
That's my show.
You should definitely check that out. And there's a few other things coming up, and there may be some new things coming down the pipeline towards the end of the summer. But thank you for being here with us. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you will enjoy us next episode. But for now, we are going to find somebody to raid. So have a good evening.
Who getting these grits? Let's find